Welcome to the Bridgewater Hall, Manchester. All the classical types in the band are telling me that this is a massive deal to be playing here. I have spent my career in my massive arrogance being totally unimpressed by places that I've played in until it's too late. I'm not about to change now. But it's nice, it's spacious, it's impressive. We can have a poke around the stage of the auditorium. The stage is still good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Very low level of construction.
Okay.
There we go, stage left. Piano tuners in will have to be quiet.
Then also back a bit, maybe. Yeah, we could.
Okay, we're here doing the first of the band interviews with the Tubular Bells reimagined 50th anniversary shows. And I have in front of me the only other member of the band, apart from me and Robin, who've done all 100 shows. We did our 100th last night. So, Kwesi, just tell us a brief potted history. How did you get into music? And what do you do?
Okay, so I'm from Birmingham, and I went to a lovely school called King Edward's School, secondary school, and there were 3 orchestras there, and I had this fascination with instruments, generally wind, brass, anything. But then we were in assembly one morning, and they said, "Oh, you can sign up for instrument lessons." So I went along and signed up for violin lessons, and my parents didn't know until the Christmas when they got the bill. I think I've got the scar somewhere. I always had this. I didn't know which direction it was going to go, but I'd always been fascinated with the instruments. It was the look of them actually that got me first. Anyway, so I took these violin lessons. I was crap. I was rubbish at the violin. And then one summer, I learnt the code to the instrument store cupboard, and I took a 3/4 cello home and taught myself a little bit of how to play. Then I made the same mistake and signed up for lessons again and didn't tell my parents. And that's how I got in. And then at school there was orchestra. It was a very lively music department at school. And Peter Bridle, our head of music, I still use his teaching to this day. The rudiments that we had there were just the best. It was, keep the basics good, and you'll be set for anything. And here I am there.
And what kind of music were you listening to?
As a child?
Yeah.
So we always had reggae in the house. And being a Jehovah's Witness, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, we had the Kingdom Melodies, which were all in 4-part harmony in this hymn book. So I was fascinated by these dots and dashes that didn't mean anything.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then that progressed into dance music, EDM. I love dance music, and then it just exploded when I went to the academy, listening to anything and everything that I can get my hands on. So
you're probably the only other member of the band who I could mention Underworld to, and not greeted with blank comprehension.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And how did you get involved in this current?
In this project, so I was booked by an agent for this one, and so I didn't know what to expect. Can I mention the agent name?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so Young Guns, Alex Lyon booked me. He rang me up and said, "I've got this great gig for you." So I just said yes, and it was at the end of COVID, of course, so to work had been scarce, and I was really grateful for the call and the work, and I felt a little bit, what's the word? Apprehensive, because I hadn't really played much for other people during COVID, so it was my first kind of big public gig, and I didn't realise what it would turn into. It's just, I don't think any of us did. It's just become, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you think the performance has developed over the 100 shows that we've done?
It's an interesting question. So, obviously we've had personnel changes. There have been different people playing, which has added its own dynamic, but I don't think that's as important as what the core of it has become. I think it's changed from being something that we play to something that we offer. That's
a very interesting distinction.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Hungarian lady violinist Kato Havas?
Yes, actually.
Who wrote some amazing books about performance.
Right.
And one of the things she said, she was primarily addressing violinists. And she said, the camera might put this, hold out your hand as though you've got the violin, your left hand as though you've got the violin neck in your hand. Now take away the violin. What are you doing? She said, you're offering, it's the same movement as when you're offering a gift to someone.
Absolutely. And even applause, we were always taught to, you bow because you're saying thank you for the applause, thank you for coming to see me.
Yeah.
And I feel like, now that we know the parts so well, we know each other's parts, there's less individual technical concern going on. It's more about how we appear, how we sound as a group, and what we offer to the audience. Most of our conversations are about how did it sound, how was it received. The audience was great. It's not, oh, I messed that bit up, or I've got to look at that bit. There's none of that anymore. It's just what can we do, and also looking on stage. When we're on stage, the interaction has gone up to
through the roof.
Yeah.
The other thing, one of the other things that Kato Havas talked about, she said, musicians who come out of the sort of conservatoire school are are so afraid of making a mistake that they forget to play the music.
Yeah.
And that kind of chimes with what you're talking about,
Yeah.
where you're no longer worrying, oh, did I make some tiny little fluff
Exactly.
on the third semiquaver of
Yeah.
some obscure buried.
No one gives a shit. That's an affliction that's followed me like all the way through my career, and I regret letting it ever set in.
The what?
It's something that's followed me through my career. That fear of messing up. But
Right.
you listen to any recording, there's a mistake on it. You go to any concert, there's a mistake on it. Nobody's going to be 100% happy with how a piece of music is presented ever. Not the whole team.
Right.
I think there's somebody who'll be, I could have done that better. So it's difficult to relax into that, and then because when I relax and think, right, just play, I play properly.
Exactly.
But if I worry about that little bit that nobody's even bloody listening to because it's probably covered elsewhere, it can ruin the whole performance.
If you let it,
if you hang up about it, and it's not about me, it's about the audience.
It's intriguing the way different musicians approach that. I've always approached that by not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And when you're doing a live performance, if you make a mistake, no one will ever hear it again.
Exactly. Yeah.
And unless it's a live album, in which case you normally get the chance to repair it.
Right. It's an invitation to do it again properly, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I tend to be quite relieved when I've made my first mistake on a gig. I go, okay, I'm unlikely to make another one now.
Exactly. And, it's live performance. It's not the dentist.
It sometimes feels like that. That's been a massive difference for me when I first started doing this gig, is that strange approach where you don't talk to the audience in between pieces and it feels very tense. But that's eased off now. We've sort of settled into it. Anyway,
we connect with individuals in the audience, which I really love doing that, because you get such energy back from them, particularly ones that are reliving something or living something for the first time. You see kids sing it for maybe the first time. Getting really involved in something that we're offering. I love that.
There was a little 12-year-old girl in front of us the other night who was just completely losing control.
Yeah, absolutely. Get them in young,
I mean, I wish I could talk to them all. There was two women a couple of nights ago in front of us. Age-wise, they looked like mother and daughter, but they were both occasionally weeping and occasionally comforting each other with just a squeeze of the arm. And I wondered if they had a man in common, maybe her husband and her daughter's father.
I did see that.
For whom this was a favourite piece of music, and they were kind of there.
It's also a big responsibility we have actually to do it properly, because any music that you play in front of somebody you should do properly, but particularly when we know what we know about what this piece means to people and what this experience means to people. There was a man that came to Bath. It was Buxton last time, and it was his 90-something birthday, and that was his birthday gift.
Wow!
And his wife said, "This is, he won't see this again." And I hope he does see it again. But there's a lot, there's a lot on it for some people, and I think that's that. I think now that we're aware of that, I think we offer even more, step up the game even more, and we get these bloody amazing calls to play in.
Yeah,
it becomes about the experience rather than what our part, which I've never done a show 100 times before.
Really?
No, never.
Okay.
Close to, but not 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the main differences and pros and cons between playing electric cello and acoustic cello?
Funny you should say that, but them both here.
Quick, hand me that cello.
So I'll start with the electric. So a message for the audience, which I know is coming later. It's a cello. It is a cello. It's just as an electric guitar is a guitar. This is a cello. So it's. I'll just tell you a little bit about it. It doesn't have a resonating body, so it's dead. It needs amplification to work. And am I right to speak? So if I play, I don't have a speaker here, but if I play it, it doesn't produce any sound. So everything that I rely on the other cello is controlled by a machine. So I have to plug myself into a box that converts my signals to go out to the front of house, And that sound out there, I never really hear. I need to hear it in the distance. What I get is a monitored sound, which I sort of control, and that comes from another desk. And I put my headphones in, and then I can hear myself play. So all the resonance from the cello, the acoustic cello, to mimic that, I have to use pedals, and I can adjust the level of reverb so it can echo around, and I can adjust. I can do all sorts of things. Let's not go into pedals because we'll be here all day. In fact, I've just been looking at some. But the advantage, the pros of this is that it can play with other electronic instruments, which the other cello can't really.
Right.
Well, it can. It's just not as powerful. The tone isn't right. The timbre isn't right. But playing against with you, for example, I feel like it's the appropriate instrument to play with the electrics. And when Robin heard that I could play it, he said, "Bring it, please bring it to ditch the acoustic."
I mean, for the engineer's point of view,
Yeah.
this is miles better because you don't have to put a microphone in front of it.
Exactly.
The microphones will pick up all the drums that are on stage.
Exactly. Like in F and blind when they listen. No, it's not. It's also easier to fly with, and it's,
Sure.
it can go on the truck. I'm not so concerned about its well-being. It's not as fragile as the other one. Yes, it's an expensive instrument, but it's not. It doesn't cause as much worry as the other one. So they're the pros. The cons are it doesn't give you the resonance back, so I can't feel a lot of what I would normally feel
through your chest,
through my chest and my feet and my knees.
Okay.
So you get a lot, and because it's missing the shoulders. So the normal cello, I'll show you in a second. The shoulders are here, and I didn't realise how much you rely on the distance. You can see the distance. You can see the F holes. You can see all sorts of things, and there's a lot of physical things that you rely on. But I treat this as a different instrument. In my head, I don't call it a cello. It's very different. We've got dots. I wondered what the dots were for. That's because you're being monitored. If your monitors fail, you can still carry on.
Okay.
And also, it's a very sensible decision. In the absence of the rest of the body, you've got nothing the visuals on there. So they're giving you key markers where to put your things. So that's the halfway mark. But it does mean that during the show, I look a lot at my fingers. But then, so do guitarists. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
So I've had to scrap all of that you should technique and think, right, develop something that's going to work. And if you have to look, you have to look.
Okay.
But yeah, I enjoy it. I really love getting to play.
So they're the equivalent of the frets on a guitar.
They're being in the same place, I imagine. I mean, I don't know what the string length is.
No, we have 3rd, 5th, 7th.
Oh, dots.
9th and 12th.
Oh, that's where.
Where the fret. That's where the dot. Yeah, but you've got
halfway.
Is each of those dots a semitone?
Yes, but the lines across. That's the halfway harmonic.
That's the 12th fret, so there's a harmonic there. Yeah.
And that would be the 5th.
Okay, that would be our 7th, I'd say.
So that's it.
Yeah.
And then you've got that one.
And that's the 4th.
And then you don't really use the others. But yeah, besides in tubular bells, I end up there. So I'm not a dot for that.
Same on the guitar. I agree. I mean, to me, the electric guitar and the acoustic guitar are two completely different instruments.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're different things. Okay. But I'll just show you the other one. So this is my baby. I won't put the spike up, but I mean, immediately the difference is the cello that we're used to is powerful. I can feel it vibrating, but it's just such high maintenance to take it. It's very fragile.
Are those shoulders the 12th fret?
No, that's there. So,
right, but you're relying on that part of your hand knowing where it is on that curve.
Exactly.
Right.
And my thumb, this is a key marker for 4th position.
Of course.
It's just a dot on the back of the neck there. So I've added a thumb plate, but it's any shift I do on this cello, I can. It's amazing how much you don't know that your senses pick up. I mean, I of course I listen, but there's the feel, but I know that technique has to happen around there. It doesn't happen on that instrument. It's just so there's a lot that's built up. I can see the bridge. Of course, you don't have the same kind of bridge.
Yeah.
And there's the bowing technique is actually that's the biggest difference. On this, you add weight on the string. You don't add any weight on that.
How do you mean weight?
So I pull on the string to get the sound out. So on the electric cello, I play like this.
Okay.
And the string, because of the pickup is so sensitive.
Right.
It'll get anything you do. Whereas this, I can play this and you can hear it. On the electric cello, that would sound and then it will come out front of house. That's the
Right.
biggest difference.
Wow.
So you don't need that heavy bow technique that you need on this one. Because you sometimes get tired arms bowing, especially if it's a loud piece. But on that, you can play forever on that.
And in terms of the height of the strings off the fretboard, what we call action in guitar world, is it the same?
Same, yeah.
Okay.
The action on that is very slightly lower than this, but this moves, of course. So throughout the year, if the bridge moves, the action changes. They're very kind of
so
organic.
It's constant maintenance.
Yeah, and you're forever checking the tune,
tweaking the tune.
Yeah. I mean, on the electric cello, you don't have these adjusters.
Oh, you've got fine tuners down the bottom.
But I've got guitar heads which are much more stable than these.
Much more, yeah.
So it's I don't prefer either. I love them both.
Right.
I've grown to love the electric a lot, and this is it's for different things. I wouldn't record on that, but I would never do a gig like this on this cello ever.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not.
You did it first, though.
I did, yeah, it didn't work. It's not appropriate, I think. But yeah.
Okay.
I'm a very lucky man.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So, what show do you remember most fondly?
Luxembourg.
Why?
There was something that happened in that show where we all sort of went, we were halfway through the tour. Were we halfway through the tour?
Can I just explain for the benefit of our audience?
Yes.
This happened on our European tour at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And we'd been playing theatres and concert halls. And we turned up at a little rock club in Luxembourg where the audience was going to be standing up. There were only 300 of them as opposed to 2,000 seaters in the halls. The stage was probably the size of this dressing room. So Robin had to use an electric piano. I think we got the percussion on.
And just about.
But it was a very different physical and probably psychological environment.
I think so. It's something that it felt more appropriate for the. I don't know. There's something comforting about it. There's something welcoming and familiar, very familiar about it.
That's interesting as well.
Felt like a gig.
As opposed to the sort of tension of getting on the stage in front.
Yeah, we didn't have all of that, and the audience were right up against us, which I loved. And then the bars were open, so they were getting drinks during the and it felt much more like a relaxed gig, even though it wasn't. It's the same music, but the atmosphere in that room was electric.
For me, that night it turned into a band from having been an orchestra.
Yeah, exactly.
It suddenly it changed. Yeah. Significantly.
Absolutely. That's the marking point for me when the tubular bells felt different after that, in a good way. Okay. Yeah, I love that gig.
Which leads me on to our next question. I'm going to skip one, but we'll come back to it in a minute. What do you think of tubular bells as a piece of music? Please be honest.
What do I think as a piece of music?
Compared to the kind of repertoire you normally play.
I don't know what I think of it. I know I love it.
Okay.
I don't know what I think of it. I think it has its strong moments and its weak moments, but it's a difficult question. I think it's an important piece of music, very important piece of music, because it's a meeting of genres, disciplines, generations, which I don't think he knew at the time.
No,
but he does know. It's also got a foot in the film industry. It's got popular culture, but it's also ingrained in what's the word I'm looking for? Genuine musicianship. It's born of genuine musicianship. So it strikes a chord with me several times. But I mean, there are bits of it that I don't enjoy as much as others. That's just my personality.
But do you have the same things if you're playing a symphony?
It's a different bit of me that comes out. Famously, I used to cry at the end of Tubular Bells 2 every time. That's partly Daisy's fault for singing like that, partly your fault, and partly Max's fault. But there's something, without sounding too deep, I just thought, is this what it's like when you die? Is this what it sounds like? There's so many performances that have been so beautiful that I've caught myself reliving memories and very personal things that come to me on stage, and then I lose it. So the ability for this piece to do that to me keeps it, you know, it's up there with my favourite. Sitting playing a piece of Marley, yes, it does get me, but there are different things that play there. I don't have the same stresses that I do in the classical world as I do. Sorry, in this world as I do in the classical. They're different, different challenges, but I feel the room for expression is bigger in this with this piece of music, and I can show like people, my personality can come out in music. So. What do I think of it? I don't know. It's just offered me so much in so many ways, and I wish Mike knew that. I'd love to tell him thank you personally because it's changed my life. This piece, that piece of music, and meeting you guys. It's so multifaceted, that question. So I don't know what I think of it, but I'm very grateful to it.
Okay, my actual follow-up question was, you said about there's bits of it you don't like, and what I was really asking was. But you gave me a far more interesting answer to a totally more interesting question. Are there bits of symphonies that you don't like?
Yeah, the hard bits.
Okay, let's get back to the frivolous stuff. What show do you remember with the most horror, if any?
Oh God. Do you remember when I came on and I had my octave pedal on? So, for the benefit of the audience, I walk on stage and I play on my own for 16 bars. And it's a solo. I'll peg you up to the top, and it's beautiful. But new to the world of pedals, I'd left my octave pedal on, and it came out 2 octaves down, and it's on the internet. Somebody's recording it on their phone, and I didn't. I should have just flicked the pedal off, but I didn't. No, I just froze and saw it, and this little light was blinking at me. And I played the whole solo 2 octaves down.
For the benefit of listeners, that's the intro to Summit Day.
Yes.
Which Kwesi plays as a solo.
Yeah.
What's your favourite bit to play in your part?
My part, the riff in Tubular Bells Part 1. It's my favourite bit every night. Because it's challenging, and I get to, it's rocking, it's cool, and it's a bit where you can watch the audience, because it's 8 minutes of playing the same thing. I don't need to read the music. I can just interact with my colleagues and friends.
You don't need to look at the fretboard?
Nope, not for that bit. That I can do with muscle memory. So I can look at the audience, and you see the energy do this all the way through. And then when they finally hear, because it's in that bit, the instruments that are playing are announced. The instruments that are on stage are announced one by one. And when they get to Tubular Bells, you see this like field of smiles come, and you can feel that. Dopamine, they're almost like, oh, it's here, I've arrived with it. And then we get another round of it, and then suddenly it just dissipates into nothing. And then Max plays that guitar beautifully, that beautiful exit. And then the roar of applause every night.
It's great.
It's incredible.
Somebody said to me after a show a few gigs ago, you must be shattered. And I said, no, I was, when I went on stage, I was shattered. By the end of the show, I've got so much energy coming back from you that I feel wide awake and totally refreshed.
Exactly. It's difficult to sleep sometimes after the gigs. I find it, especially for the good one. I'm hyper.
Okay, what's your favourite piece in the show?
In the whole show?
Yeah.
My favourite bit, I'd like to say the riff, but I think it's the end of the show, where we've had all of that energy, and then there's just pure beauty to the end of the thing. So the guitar trio as well, it's just the three of you.
Yeah.
I love that bit. That's a very special moment.
It's great now that Blaze has been encouraged to come to the front of the stage and join in.
And then, sorry, that's don't be late for sound check alarm.
Okay, we've got 5 minutes. Okay, where have the best audiences been?
Ooh. Up north,
Scotland. I would say.
Scotland, they're very, very vocal. And one of the taxi drivers said, "Well, they'll tell you if they don't like it. They'll tell you." That was a rubbish accent.
Any funny moments you can remember from the shows?
The pedal incident.
The pedal. Okay, right.
Pedal gate.
You got a message for our audience?
Keep coming to see it. Keep music alive, but you investigate music. Investigate. Just get dirty. Get your hands dirty. Listen to any old thing, but and come and say hello to the show as well.
Okay,
I love that.
Finally, we've got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What are the technical challenges for you of the show?
The technical challenges are knowing what to listen to on stage. So be it getting used to the sound of the cello. Each time I go on stage, it feels different. So I have to communicate with the monitor engineer, Joey, or whoever's doing it, and make sure that I can hear what I'm doing. Because for some reason, when the audience arrive and the bodies are in the room changes its sound. And it's knowing what language to have to communicate effectively what I need and what I need to, because the engineer can't hear what I can hear sometimes. So it's that my technical challenge is being able to use the proper language and know what I want from the instrument and observe you guys and hear what you do. That's the biggest challenge, is making sure that I'm comfortable on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kwesi, this is brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.